All right. It says we're live, so G23 can quit belly aching. Anyway, welcome to what the hell is this? Oh yeah, this is This Week Unloaded number 131. Whatever. Man, tonight we got whoever, and he goes by the name Kingpin. You may have seen this guy around before. How are you tonight?
I never heard of this guy.
Yeah. Man, you need to watch YouTube more than man. I'm telling
What is this YouTube you speak of?
you. You're on it right now.
Oh, hi YouTube. How are you?
Yeah, and next we got this guy. I think he's some kind of outcast from New York or something. He claims his name is Rob D, but I don't know.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us.
See, Rob just plays it straight. He doesn't play around and joke around. And Kingpin bought into what I was doing. Rob just says hi, and you know, yeah.
Yeah, I screwed it up. My bad.
Uh, Buck out there says that you like crazy dolls. Kingpin, are you the guy that has those spooky dolls that follow you when you walk through a room?
No, but I'll slightly correct him. I like the soon-to-be champion for the female, whatever the stupid thing is. She's gonna kick the crap out of Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, that was what you kept saying last night.
This reminds me of a conversation I had with a lady the other day. Now, just imagine you're driving down the road at night. You got your window open. It's summer. And all of a sudden, a Chucky doll comes flying into your car because some asshole air cannoned it through your window. That'd freak you out, right? Be pretty funny. Like, I figured it would be awesome, but you'd have to really nail the timing. But there's a good chance you can cause an accident and go to
There's a
jail.
very good chance.
Maybe just start with putting a Chucky doll on the back seat, and then when you get in, what is that? Oh,
Yeah, maybe. Might be the safer way to go about it. But man, that'd be crazy, right? You're just driving and all of a sudden something comes flying in and hits you and you notice and it's a Chucky doll. Like, yeah, it's probably a bad idea. Somebody would freak out and crash.
Get one of those radio controlled Optimus Prime dolls, put that in the back seat, and when somebody starts gets in their car to start up, you have it climb the back of the seat and attack them.
I like where you're going with that. Except for the liability part.
Well, I'm saying before they pull out, just as they're getting in to start the car, maybe it's a cold day and they got to warm the car up before they go.
But people do the damnedest things. When you play a joke, sometimes it just gets crazy. Like they react in the strangest ways sometimes. You got to be real careful, especially nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
you said that meme on Education where the woman put tarps all over her living room, and when her husband opened the front door, she sprayed him with the hose.
Oh,
It is a 10-second TikTok, and she had to have spent 10 hours prepping this house and getting this ready.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch his video today, so I did not. If that was on today's, I did not see it.
Nah, this is like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this lady, it's a ground level entrance, like a standard rancher type of house or whatever, and there's a living room door, like the front door. She tarped the walls, the carpet, all the furniture, and everything. I guess she hooked the hose up in the backyard and drug the hose through the house. Had like a fireman's outfit on. And when the husband opened the door, she just opened the hose on it and then turned it off and started laughing. And that's it. It was less than a 10-second TikTok.
So she can do all that, but she can't do the damn dishes.
I mean, dinner better have been ready.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie's out there.
Just being a smart ass.
Yeah. Yep, I see Bernie. Yeah. The one I like that he had, what was it? couple months ago, probably now, was one where the chick's sitting there with her cat on her lap, and she starts going off about woke bullshit, and the cat just gives her a look and smacks the shit out of her.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That one was funny as hell. He's like, "Yep, see, even the cats know."
That's one more reason cats rule.
I got a new dog today. By default. My roommate and his wife got a new pit bull today. It's 7 months old. And it's every bit of rambunctious. And I was volunteered to let the dog sleep in my room tonight because we still got the other dog, and the other dog is too hyper to control. I mean, he's nuts, and now he's got a little crazy partner. So this is going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
How you like the roommate thing?
Oh, it's going to be temporary. I didn't get a dog. They got a dog.
Yeah. No, I just mean living with roommates. How does that work out for you? Has it been good? I mean, sometimes it works out good for people. So especially in bad neighborhoods, because you're more likely to get robbed when you're not home. So.
No, where I live at now, this is like my permanent house now. This is way out in the suburbs. Like this is Beaver Cleaverville out here. We're the worst people around here.
Uh-huh.
I've known this dude for I don't know, since 1996. Seven Wonders is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't move. I live by myself. I don't unless you're like one of my team, then I'm not moving in anywhere with you. I'm super hesitant about moving in with my friends, because I know them. But this situation just worked out. I've been coming here my entire life almost.
That's cool. And sometimes it does work out. It's a win-win. Other times, not so much. So,
you know what CAD welding is, Rob?
Not by that name anyway. Not off the top of my head. CAD welding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I used to build cell phone towers, and sometimes you gotta connect antennas and different stuff like that to sides of buildings and all that kind of stuff. And we can't lug welders up there and do all that. So we get this kit called a CAD welding kit. And it's magnesium and gunpowder. And then you get molds. So you basically take one end of the building, like a little metal rod that's sticking up, and then you take a little metal rod on what you want to attach, put them together, put this box around there, stuff the gunpowder and the magnesium in there.
Okay. Yeah.
I set one of those off in this
I've seen it.
I set one off in this dude's bedroom years back and burnt a giant hole through the floor. For whatever reason, I don't know why we did it, because we're stupid and we're reckless, but we also put it in the glass.
Alcohol.
No, we were sober, man. We were just real destructive.
I'm trying to help you out.
We poured it in a glass ashtray and it exploded. I didn't take into consideration that the explosion, having hot molten lava flying across your room. We're so lucky because there was 3 of us standing right over top of it when it exploded, and none of us got burned. If a drop of that stuff would have hit you, wherever you got hit, it's done for. It'd burn a hole right through your leg in a second. And his mom was pissed. When she got home, the house was still full of smoke.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I paid to recarpet. It was in his bedroom, so I had to recarpet his bedroom.
So you guys basically tried reenacting the 1862 Allegheny Arsenal explosion in your friend's bedroom.
Yeah, man, we're stupid. Like I said, we're really reckless. What's G23 complaining about now?
Oh, he asked the question for Rob earlier. He wanted to know if he tried killing his family again today.
No, I didn't try killing him yesterday. Damn it!
I do.
But
for you, Rob.
No, he's not denying that he tried on Friday though. Just today.
No, I didn't try killing any day. So I did not cook today. Wasn't asked to cook. The lady handled that with no problem. So everything's back on track.
All right, Rob. How did you get away with the tower drop video? The carnival ride or whatever?
What do you, she didn't know I was recording. Like, she wasn't sure I was recording. So, because she had her eyes closed. As soon as we got on and it started moving, she closed her eyes. And I was like, "Oh, you all right?" She was like, "I'm all right." And then, so I knew it was going to be something. So I whipped my phone out.
Did she know you posted it?
Yeah. The next day, like, I ended up like making the small short of it, or attempting to, although none of my stuff seems to get picked up as shorts. But I had asked her, before I sent it through, I was like, "Are you okay with this?" And she came in and watched it. She was like, "You're an asshole," but all right. So,
when you
but yeah, I asked permission.
That's the first thing I thought of when I was watching the video. I was like, either Rob is moving out or she allowed him to post this.
Yeah. Pick your battles. I wouldn't have picked that one.
Yeah, I have honestly never gotten to ride one of those rides. It's like my luck. Every time I get in line for one of those, the damn ride breaks down while I'm in line for it. The closest I ever got was the Demon Drop at Cedar Point. We were actually strapping into the ride, and they started to back it up the thing, and right where you start to tilt, the damn ride broke down right there at that point. So we all had
How many warnings are you going to take before you die on one of these rides, Rich?
My rule is don't ever go like on the first few days. Like, let everything cycle a few times and make sure, the Bob from down the street put all the pins in and shit. In my hometown, when the fair would come through back in the day, it was all the locals. It was like the drunks and the guys that didn't keep normal jobs and shit. Half of them, you wouldn't want putting your rides together, but that's who they paid to do it every year. So normally no problems, but my rule of thumb is give it a day or two, let everything work a little bit, and make sure, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cart we were in, when it pivoted, like right at the top, when you were right at the top for some reason. I don't know if there was like a spot in the bearing or something, because maybe it's the windiest point or where it takes the most abuse. But as soon as you like peek out at the top, it felt like the whole cart shifted a little bit. And she swore I was shaking it, and I wasn't. So I wasn't intentionally being a dick or anything. But yeah, it was pretty funky. Another ride we were on was making some crazy ass noise. The Orbiter. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but used to be one of my favorites. But the 3-cart setup we were in, the thing was clicking like it was, one of them toys with the little plastic gear thing. Just like the whole time, I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, that's not good.
So ride at your own risk, folks.
Yeah, it looks like your lady is out there picking on your cooking, Rob. She says she lived through the cookies.
Oh man, she's not harassing me again, is she?
Yeah, she said you ate good tonight because she made sausage, egg, and cheese English muffins.
That does sound good.
She is too. But enough of this shit.
Seven Wonders was sticking up for you. She put a nasty thing out in the chat, and he deleted it for you.
Nice.
She called you a bad word.
Man, that didn't show up on the StreamYard part.
Nah,
damn, see, I got to be careful what I say, man. This is horrible.
StreamYard.
See, I was not being a jerk. I was trying, being respectful. See, nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, just to prove it to you, I wasn't lying. She said that her cooking's better than yours, Rob. No, he's not denying anything.
What happens is this expose there's Vanessa. You guys ever heard of that? The Big E.
The Eastern States Exposition. Not that I can recall.
Seven, did you know Midas Welby's back, right? Seven.
No, there now Seven can't delete anything she says. But she's still out there. She now has a wrench, so she's protected.
The hell are you doing, Rich? The hell?
Hold you out, Rob.
Hey, Rob's got
Damn
a wrench
it.
out there too. It's just he never does anything out in the chat. So it's not like a situation where Snob goes out there and bans Mystic all the time.
Oh, it's a state fair for 5 of the New England states. She said it only closed once during World War II, and then for the phony pandemic.
Okay.
She didn't use the word phony. That was mine. But she said she needs some wrenches to change her front shocks.
Well, maybe all those mods out there can loan you theirs. There's a lot of blue wrenches out there right now.
I'm sure Mystic will help you change them.
Well, that Misfits chick is trouble, so you shouldn't have gave her a wrench.
I think poor Bernie's the only person out there right now that doesn't have one. I'm going through it. It's like blue, 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 blue. And then get the Bernie and oops, there's no blue with Bernie. Yeah, that's okay. He's a socialist anyway. Remember, we came to the conclusion, if you remember, that he's actually Bernie Sanders in disguise.
Yeah.
That picture he has is just some stock photo.
You seen the only person that they arrested Saturday in D.C. was an undercover agent.
Did they actually arrest him? I heard they pulled him out and then walked him out of the crowd or something like that.
I don't know if they actually took him into custody and booked him, but they definitely walked him out of the crowd.
Yeah, Vanessa wants to
I'm
know
sure they're looking for all that because right in that area, nobody's supposed to be carrying a gun unless you are a cop, I guess. So,
well, in D.C. anyway, good luck getting a permit in D.C. But Vanessa actually has a question up there. She wants to know what the largest size socket dimension is. She wants to know, is half-inch the largest, or is there bigger? I've seen bigger.
Yeah, you can
it's bigger.
Get 3/4 drives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Depends on how industrial you want to go.
Now, why is G23 deleting what Moose says?
Let's see what he said.
He said, "Don't blow my cover of G23."
I'm not gonna repeat what Misfit Darling said about Rob, but I would have repeated what Moose said.
Oh, I saw what you said. It wasn't that
I'm
bad.
too much of a gentleman.
We've both said worse about Rob before.
Shh. I was hoping he forgot.
Feel the love.
Rob's like an elephant. He never forgets.
It's true. unfortunately. Though some things are good to remember, some not so good.
Yeah, she's like to change the rusty bolts on her front shocks. She thinks she needs a half inch. Yeah, that might be the case.
Yeah, if there are
Yeah,
rusty bolts on there and you spray them down pretty good with that rust breaker stuff, whatever they call it, lube. What I can't think of what the name of it is now. And
there's a few different ones.
you want something with a little bit of stability. Maybe
Yeah.
even get a breaker
TV
bar.
Blaster, or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
something like that. Yeah, WD-40 makes one too.
Yeah,
All that stuff's good to either throw on, like the day before, soak it real good or something. Get the
yeah. Something
chance.
else. Yeah, something else you might want to try, but you gotta be careful not to strip the edges off of the bolt or the nut that you have to take off. But if you got a decent power drill, you can get an adapter where you can put your socket on there. That'll give you a little bit more leverage.
no, I disagree. If
Well,
you're
it's almost the same as using an impact wrench. No,
no,
you got it. You don't do it
That's
on high speed. You do it on low. So I
no,
said you got to be careful.
no. If you're talking about like a carpenter's drill type of stuff like that,
No,
you
not
get
like
at
no, not
Home
talking like
Depot.
that kind of drill.
Oh, all right. Thought you're talking about like an impact gun,
Yeah,
like a mechanic's gun.
yeah,
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 yeah. You can get one of those from Harbor Freight. My dad got one that'll rip the bolts out of the Eiffel Tower if you wanted it to.
man. You know my brain ain't
if
working
you
right.
have a AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts, you can borrow that for
Yeah, you
free.
can
Like
borrow
they
those.
have you pay for it, but you don't really.
Yeah, you
It's
get your
like a
money.
deposit, so
Yeah,
you get your money back. It's usually an electric model they loan out. They do work fine. Worst come to worst, use an extension to get in there. Those, an impact is always better on some of those rustier stuff, suspension and whatnot. Although you may have a hard time getting it in there.
yeah.
Going by hand, it can be a struggle and be hours on a bolt. So keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, she said
Sometimes the shops just cut out like the lowers. They'll just a lot of times just cut it right off. In some
yeah.
cases,
Well, her case,
expect to replace the bolts. So
yeah, the problem
wish
she
you
has
luck.
is, yeah, the problem she has. It's one of those ones that goes down through the top, so it's pointing straight up. Yeah, in that case, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get a impact wrench in there. You might have to put your socket on there and see if you can find a pipe or something that you can put over the end of the wrench itself and give yourself a little more leverage that way. As
Yeah,
long
if
as you
you
got
got
it on like jack stands or something, so you're not like breaking your jack.
Breaker bar or something.
Yeah,
yeah, if you're talking about like you got to remove it from the top from like the strut tower, and you've got the room under the hood to use a breaker bar, I definitely recommend doing that and spraying it with some of that blaster like Rob said.
yeah, that's gonna be your best bet there.
I mean, Buck said you could put some heat on it, but if you don't know what you're doing, putting heat on it is going to destroy it.
Well, she's having to replace that shock anyway, so I don't know if that's gonna.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, usually the top, like if she's talking under the hood there, they're normally not too bad to remove. So, usually can get access to them. That's not too bad. Anything on the bottoms where you end up having a real hard time due to the weather, salt, everything, the water, those are the bolts that end up being nightmares sometimes. So, same thing with like lower control arms or rear. Same, whatever. Yeah, having a brain fart, but I'm sure you guys, everybody understands what I'm saying. The bottom
Okay.
bolts are usually the worst one.
Well, she's saying she's got to go down through the hood to do it, so she might be able to get an impact wrench in there.
Well, it's not. The first thing she needs is she just said right there. She needs an extension because she's got to get up high enough where she's not going to hit the car
Yeah,
trying to get leverage
but if that's the case, if she can get to the nut through
under the hood.
through the hood under the hood, yeah, she might be able to get an impact wrench in there.
All right, who lives near? Somebody needs to go
Right.
give her a hand or help her
G23
out.
is the closest as far as
Loan her some tools.
I think G23 is the closest.
Get the clock out, do something.
Connecticut, Oregon, they're right next door to each other.
Yeah, tomorrow's Mad Sexy's birthday, by the way.
He's not even out there.
No, I haven't seen him in a little bit. I'm gonna go to
No.
Instagram in Washington.
No, G23 goes over there. If it starts off anything like my dinner did, then by the time they're done, the car will explode.
So G23 says he's in Oregon and he has an impact wrench. Road trip.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. She says she does have use of an auto body shop on the base that's near. She may not need the tools if she can use theirs. So yeah, and there you go. Problem solved. Take it there, and if you can't figure it out, I'm sure somebody there can figure it out for you.
Yeah. If you use somebody's shop, I recommend you're respectful, like sweep up, use the absorbent, try not to make a mess. Common courtesy stuff. Probably don't have to say this to you, but in general, people, if you use somebody's shop, the towels, everything costs money. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're not too bad of a job. So hopefully, like the little, can't even think what you call them now. The little buffers on top and whatnot aren't all cracked up, things like that. A lot of times, a little aluminum tray thing up there that holds a little rubber mount. Push the shock up, they snap in vehicles, and it's a pain. So hopefully her new, can't remember if she was saying struts or shocks now, but she's new struts or whatever comes with all new hardware, things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
and decent. So you can get those quick ones, like the quick struts. I've put a dozen in. They work. They're good. They're not as good as the original. So it's a lot of times it's better just to rebuild it, in my opinion, if you want an actual really comfortable ride. So those other ones do work, though. Those are what I've noticed. A lot of the small dealerships will just throw in to be quick and whatever. But there is a difference in struts and shocks, more so than I can explain. But the cheap ones aren't always the best deal or the most comfortable ride.
I'm assuming she's putting it on a truck, so she said Rancho 9. She got a Rancho 9000. She asked if it comes with the rubber fittings for it. She didn't open the box yet. Bernie said they should be in the box. I haven't ever done those on a truck, if that's what she's doing it on, so I don't know. I've never actually done work on a truck.
Yeah, it kind of probably depend. If it's a shock, then it doesn't have it. If it's a strut, then it would at top.
I'm thinking she's talking strut when she says it's sticking straight up. 'Cause that's generally a strut that sticks straight up. The shocks go on from the side, so I'm thinking it's a strut that she has. And she says she got
some are fairly vertical.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're normally on a slight angle.
Yeah. But the way she's describing it, that's what I'm thinking it is. That like you've been saying, I think it's a strut, not actually a shock.
Just be careful if you don't do this often, because there's a bit of pressure when you're trying to line stuff. Like a shock's not too bad, but the struts, be careful, especially if you're rebuilding them for the first time or something. Be easy.
No, she said they're shocks, not struts.
Okay, that's a lot easier then.
Yeah.
Then you have
Well,
those bottom bolts, and a lot of times those get cut, like to
Yeah.
get you in and out quick. So good luck with those. They do come off, but a lot of times I've like used a wire wheel and just on a regular drill and just tried to clean up the bolt, spray everything down before you even start. And a lot of times it works that way. You'd be surprised, but sometimes you'll see one you think's going to be easy, and it'll take you half the day unless you cut it or something like that. And then usually an air hammer to pound, get the bolt out of the thing. It's a pain because once you cut them, the bolts never like come out of the bushing parts, and it's becomes a mess. But
Buck's saying
I wish
some
you luck.
shocks. Yeah, Buck's saying some shocks do go up through the coil springs. Like I've never done shocks on a truck before. I've done them on cars. I've never done them on trucks, so I'm used to doing cars.
They're fairly easy in theory, but unfortunately, depending where you live, they get rusty and nasty sometimes. So that's the tricky part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a few bolts, but those few bolts, boy, they can ruin your day.
And just to be on the safe side, you may want to have an extra jack on hand because sometimes you may have to jack the axle up. Ask me how I know.
Safety glasses. Wear your safety glasses.
And don't ever take that wheel off until you got that thing on a jack stand, because you never know when your jack is going to break. I found that out the hard way too.
All right, I feel like we're mansplaining shit to her now. We should probably
I'm
stop.
just talking. I'm talking about in general to everybody out there. Yes. I've had where my jack busted, and I had to use two different floor jacks to get the car back up off the ground. One for the body itself and frame, and the other one for the rear axle when I was changing the shock the one time. Because when the jack busted, it knocked the rear axle out of alignment a little bit. So when you jack the frame up, the the coil spring that holds everything together came out as well. So I had to put all that back together and had to use a second jack, one to jack the car up and get back on and get it on the jack stand, and then the other one to jack the axle up so I could realign everything. That was fun.
Thank you, Vanessa, because you just put this in my mind. So now I need some reminder to look over the front end of my vehicle and stuff. So thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, always safety first, Vanessa. Absolutely.
Yeah. I get myself with the safety glasses sometimes because I'll just hop under there real quick and move that bolt or whatever, and then like that piece of rust always finds your eye, man. It's just then you want to wipe it, but your hands are covered or you got gloves on, and it's a pain. It's just so much easier to just throw a pair of glasses on. Like I yell at myself all the time every time I'm wiping my eye. Of course, my vehicles are old, so if you beat on them too much, you start weight reduction process and things start coming apart.
Mm-hmm. Buck says they don't make shocks for that year Honda you drive, Rob. I mean, that's what he said.
For my Honda?
That's what he said. He said they don't make shocks for that year Honda you drive,
Yeah,
Rob.
my truck has shocks.
Yeah.
Front and rear, as a matter of fact, which is kind of odd nowadays.
Yeah. Vanessa said if you have long hair, remember, be sure to tie that back too. You don't want that getting caught in anything. And she said she had hers get caught in the wheel on a dolly. Ooh, that had to hurt. She said she had to shave her head to finish the brakes. Oh my god! You couldn't just cut what was stuck in the dolly, or did you get that much hair stuck in the dolly? Jesus! Did it take you that long to notice? I don't know. Got Echo's reloading chamber out there now. Evening.
Good evening. I just want to know what she was doing on the floor with somebody rolling a dolly by her. I mean,
Yeah,
what kind
you
of
know the
party is
ones
she
you.
going to?
She's talking about the ones that you lay down to and roll underneath the car with.
Oh, okay. Okay, this makes sense.
I just think she was working on the car in a warehouse, Rob.
I'm like, what's going on? It was
Scooby comes by in
okay.
the forklift.
You know, forklift guy comes by, just runs over her hair. Next thing she knows,
Yeah,
she's getting drugged across the warehouse.
I always refer to them as creepers, and then a dolly's like a hand cart or something. I don't know, but yeah, I guess it could be seen as a dolly too. Like I had no idea where creeper comes from. It's just, I guess I'm creeping up on the problem under the car, all stealth like. I don't know, but that's what I've come accustomed to calling them.
Yeah, she says creeper. That's it, brain fart. Well, I've heard mechanics call him a dolly too. So you were either one would have been right. I guess it just depends on where you're from, what you call it for slang. I've heard both. They said I've heard both terms used. That's why I knew what she was talking about. Yeah, Moo says a dolly equals a hand truck. Yeah, that too. It's one of those situations where we all speak the same language, but we speak regional dialects. So one word in one place will mean one thing, and somewhere else it'll mean something totally different.
I live right down the street from you, man. I've never heard anybody call it a dolly.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And it's a pretty long street, but down the street.
Yeah, soda, pop. I mean, there's all types of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrenches. I've heard people call wrenches all types of different things. Different wrenches. Yeah,
Wrench,
but
banner.
as long as you know what you're talking about, I guess you get it done.
Yep. Yeah. Buck says southern equals creeper, northern equals dolly. Well, I guess it depends on what part of the north you're from too. Yeah, I knew mechanics in Pittsburgh and guys that worked on body and working that they called it but some people call it creeper. They were calling it a dolly. That's what they called it at where I went to high school. The auto body and mechanics shop there where they at the school they called it a dolly. So I mean, it just depends on where you're from.
What about the whole rubber mallet? I know those is dead blows.
No, we always
Does that sound right to people, or that's just crazy?
We always just called them a mallet, man.
Okay.
What do you call an adjustable wrench? Buck wants to know. Which type? There's multiple different types of adjustable wrenches, man. You got a monkey wrench, which is also known as a pipe wrench. You got the box
pliers, channel locks.
Yeah. Well, those are pliers, but you got box wrenches. Oh, the open type box wrench. I mean, which one are you talking about, Buck?
An adjustable wrench is the wrench where you take that little thing and roll it up and down with your thumb.
Yeah, I know.
Jaw. All the rest of that stuff
That's
aren't adjustable wrenches. They're different wrenches.
Well, monkey wrench is an adjustable wrench.
I hate those things, by the way.
Yeah, Buck. I mean, Moose says a crescent wrench.
Yeah, I hate them too.
Yeah, that's another one.
There's I guess an okay all around wrench for the average person that doesn't do anything, but they never fit anywhere. You know what I mean? Like they're rare. They tend to work well, in my opinion. I've I've seen some of the newer, what I would refer to as gimmicky ones, where it automatically locks to the sides and stuff. And some of those might work. I don't know, but I assume everything's got a torque limit.
There you go. Moo says all wrenches are hammers.
Can't argue with that.
Same with American can openers.
You know what's not a hammer? A socket wrench. Do not
Uh-huh.
use your socket wrench as a hammer.
Yeah, I was
Then the only thing it will be is a hammer.
exactly. And I was about to say that same thing, except for a socket wrench, but you beat me to it.
Or your nail gun if you're a roofer. Your nail gun's not a hammer. You don't flip it over and smack the hell out of a nail to set it.
Guilty. Drywall.
You son of a bitch.
Do not try prying a nail out with a ball peen hammer. It's not going to work. I've actually seen somebody try that. They couldn't figure out why they couldn't take the nail out with this hammer. I'm like, this was in wood shop. I'm like, you may want to change classes. If you can't figure out by now that you need a claw hammer and not a ball peen hammer, there's no helping you at this point.
Okay, whatever I've got in my hand is a hammer.
Shit, I love, well, not love, but you gotta have like an open claw in a sense, something you can actually get into, especially if you're in the building trades. Can't think of the proper term of it, but yeah, the right hammer for the right job. You know what I mean? Like, well, I use my framing hammer to do siding all the time. I know that's kind of crazy, but when you're, trying to get a nail started or something on a hollow dead spot of OSB and it just keeps bouncing and bouncing, basically I can just tap it and sink that baby. Pull it back a little bit so it's not too tight or whatever, but versus a regular hammer where feel like Popeye just there, boom, 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 like son of a bitch, like. Or you screw up and get those little 1-inch nails trying to put siding on. Oh God, that's a disaster. Hopefully somebody can relate.
Yeah. I think Kingpin and I probably can.
Nothing like bashing your fingers every nail.
No, that's not a fun experience. Like, bashing your finger once isn't fun. Doing it every damn time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, make sure you have the right nail for the job, folks. Trust me, your fingers will appreciate it.
And sometimes a bigger hammer is okay, but not all the time.
Uh-huh. Like, if you're putting a nail in your wall to hang a picture frame on, you don't need to use decking nails. A little 1-inch nail may just be all you need. And you can get a half-ounce hammer, and that'll work perfectly. You don't need the roofing hammer.
Well, a lot of people I've seen use framers for trim and stuff, and man, they put waffle marks and shit all over everything. I'm like, God, it looks worse than what it did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's counterproductive here, man. Like, it's not how you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, there was what was it? It was I think it was one of the dollar stores. They had one of those little hammers. They were like a half ounce or something like that.
Like the little 6-inch handles.
Yeah, and man, I tell you what, that thing came
thought
handy
about
for
getting
so
one of
much
those.
different things around the house.
But I figured next time somebody has to borrow a hammer or something, I'll give them that. Like, oh yeah, you can keep it. Watch them try to put in like a spike or something with that shit. Just die laughing.
Yeah, but for like minor things around the house, like if you needed to hang up a picture frame or something, they were perfect for that.
Okay, bet you got the little purple handle one too.
No, it looked like, the ones with the metal handle and they have that like black rubberized grip that has like the holes in it. It looked just like one of those, only
Oh,
smaller.
things are horrible.
Yeah, but that little hammer, I'm telling you, for like around the house, just like simple things where you didn't need a actual hammer, you just needed something to drive a teeny tiny little nail for hanging a frame or something. They were fine, picture frame or something. They were fine for that, and that's what we used it for, was little simple things like that. I don't know whatever happened to that little damn hammer. I haven't seen that in years. I think somebody walked off with it or something.
Might be in a toy box.
The kids are all grown up. There isn't a toy box. And Vanessa's after talking
Those
about
are,
S-Wing. Oh, good.
yeah, there's a hammer. Yeah, the one you're talking about, those are those bastards where you go whacking on something and the head flies off and damn near takes your head off and shit. Like, I hate those freaking hammers. Like,
Oh yeah,
I don't even want one of those around me.
Yeah, I hate those hammers too. I'm not saying go out and buy one of those full size hammers that look like that. I'm just saying that's what this little one looked like. But we weren't going out and trying to do any kind of like major roofing project or anything with it either.
It don't have to be major, man. I've seen those things. Just you look at them funny sometimes. They're like tempered glass. Right, they're fine, and then one time they just bloop, like, and somebody almost gets killed.
Nah, but that happened before the fish disappeared. So, but Vanessa's after saying about the S-Wing Sketches, axes, and hammers. I have a couple of the S-Wing axes. They are nice. I got tomahawk, and then I got a double bladed axe, little hatchet kind of axe. Theirs, they're nicely made. I like them.
It's the brand I go with, and I've had like the same hammers for years and years, and they work well. Sharpen the claw, the ones I use on roofs and things like that here or there. But again, I'm talking like probably 15 years at least, a couple of them. So I think I have 4 of those in total now, plus another brand. I can't remember what it was, but something I bought for the lady once.
I think I see the 3 people out there in the chat that we cannot trust with a nail gun. One's Vanessa, one's Moo, and one's G23. Vanessa's asking if anybody's ever shot a body part with one. Moo says that he has, and G23 says that he shot his boss's foot with one. So I don't think we can be trusting the 3 of them with a nail gun.
Damn. Nah, I've never shot none. I've been close, where I've been leaning and scrunched up and you go to stand up and had my hand, but good trigger discipline saved my ass, because I basically depressed the safety, but my finger wasn't on the trigger, and I depressed the safety on my knee, so that would have sucked, but thankfully I haven't done that.
Apparently Vanessa isn't admitting to having done this, but she says ever adjust the air pressure too high and shoot a nail through a roof board. She's like, bad, really, really bad. Yeah, I don't think we want to trust her with a nail gun here, guys.
She snob shot Mystic with a nail gun, if I remember correctly. It's crazy. I think you did that shit on purpose. Holding a door or something and you shot it through at a funny angle. You never know where that nail's going to go sometimes. It hits a knot or something, it can get crooked, or a little chunk blow right off the back and, right into somebody's eyes. So you got to be careful with that stuff.
Okay, she says she's better with a nail gun now. Okay, we'll test you if we ever get in a situation where we have to be around you when you're using a nail gun, just for safety before we go doing whatever project it is. But
used to make bets and try to stick telephone poles from the rooftops, like when taking a break and stuff. shoot off to a telephone pole trying to hit it. Back young and dumb days, but yeah, more courteous about things nowadays. But all types of stuff with nail guns. The framers, they don't shoot too well. They, the nails, keyhole really quickly through the air.
Mhm.
So you lose a lot of force. Like I seen a movie where somebody held back safety and let somebody up. And I think that would be realistic within a room, but you get too far away and it's just, I don't think it's anything, nothing. They're going to turn sideways, so.
Okay. Moo, you're not allowed to have power tools, period. Okay, first he says he was building a 2x4 wall and was holding the two pieces together, and a nail curved out through the side and attached his finger to the stud. And then then he says later that it was the same knuckle that he put an eighth of an inch drill bit into. Moo, you are not allowed to have power tools, man.
Well, I've done that 1/8 inch drill bit thing myself, so I can't bash him on that.
Yeah,
but
did
you got to
nail
keep your
that
hand
same-
out of the damn way, bro. Like, when you're putting nails in.
Come on, Rob. Did you nail that same finger to a 2x4 with the nail gun, though?
No, I try not to nail myself to wood. That must have sucked, man. I can see it now. Like, son of a bitch. You shake your hand, but you got the 2x4 stuck to it. Poor bastard.
He says he feels like Jesus now. Now, that would have been a nail through the wrist or the hand, not your finger. Finger's not going to hold you up on a cross too well. But, yeah. I get where he's going with that, though. But
Hopefully it wasn't a ring shot.
well, he said he got him in the knuckle, so I don't think that would have been.
Yeah, they kind of like shank screws that go down, like little nubs, or picture a ribbed nail.
Okay.
They don't like coming out. Oh man, a regular nail, you just got the burrs to worry about. Other than that, they're pretty clean. But a ring shot or whatever, oh god, that's gonna be hell the whole way.
Yeah, okay.
Hell of a conversation tonight.
Yeah, right. No, I said it was going to be whatever. So.
Yeah. Funny story in a sense. I was a couple times. Well, the one time I drilled the hole real good in my hand. It's like the only time I've ever seen blood and felt like I wanted to pass out or something. Like I've had bad injuries and and helped other people where I'm picking stuff out of their flesh and it's snapping back on my fingers and stuff. No problems. But man, I drilled a hole in my hand and trying to uncork screw it from the drill bit and push it back into my hand. I had to go sit down. I tell you,
Yeah.
I thought I lost my nerve after that, but I've had enough gore afterward that I got it back. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
got to be careful. Once in a while, it might catch you by surprise. You get a little funny, lightheaded.
Yeah. 8th grade, we were in wood shop, and this jackass wasn't observing the safety lines that are on the floor, which tell you not to go into if somebody else is in that space. At the big floor power tools and stuff. I'm using the belt sander. This jackass isn't paying attention to what he's doing, smacks into me, and then from 8th grade through maybe halfway through 9th grade, I didn't have a fingerprint on my left thumb. I'm sure you can figure out what happened there.
That's funny.
It wasn't at the time. Oh, God, that freaking hurt.
I get hit with sanders all the time, or catch your knuckle on a grinding wheel. Oh boy, it happens though. Usually I get lucky and it just gets the glove, or I'll just feel it. But It happens.
Yeah, thumb into a belt sander does not feel well. You know, the big floor model belt sanders.
So what's happening in the chat out there?
Yeah, they're basically talking about the same kind of shit we are. But yeah, didn't see that kid in woodshop anymore after that.
I was had a great time. Watch out.
Echo says that he's seen a mechanic get his hands sucked through a serpentine belt, crushing his gold wedding ring so bad it cut off the circulation and started swelling real bad. Had to have it cut off. I'm assuming the ring, not the finger. Or I'm hoping the ring, not the finger.
Damn. Yeah, you gotta watch them belts, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've almost done that in a sense. You get working on something back and forth, and then you almost go to reach in there, and it's like, oh, wait a minute here, like, yeah, I don't know, that not thinking, I guess, or whatever. That's what always gets you when you're daydreaming on a job or something.
Echo says he was cutting floor, tongue, and groove #3 pine for a restaurant, and he was rushing a little too fast, cut his fingertip off when it hit a knot, and stuck his hand into the saw. When I was working at Giant Eagle, there was one guy he had hired to work the deli. He cut the tip of his finger off on the meat slicer. They transferred him out of the deli the next day, and he was working at the front of the store bagging, and then they put him on cash register. It's like, yep, we're not taking a chance on you on a meat slicer anymore.
That's crazy. Meat slicers are scary, man.
Oh, I've used them.
Like, yeah, I don't know if people that haven't, but that meat and stuff, a lot of that, especially if it's meat, like that gets a little slippery. Some of the juices and crap they have in there and everything.
Yep.
And you go holding that on, and you got like the ends or the butt end or whatever, and you got to get down there. Like, definitely use a wedge or something. Like, that's so damn quick. Like, I don't know, but I'd imagine you'd slice your finger off and not even know it. Like, it'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, I have cut my finger on one cleaning it because that blade is so damn sharp.
They're no joke.
No.
That always made me nervous, which is rare for me. Meat slicers and grenades make me nervous.
Yeah, I was cleaning the one when I worked at the one gas station, and damn thing cut through the rag and got my finger. I was like, huh, that's great. It's one of those cuts where the blade was so sharp you didn't even feel it, You just look at the rag and you see blood on the rag. Huh.
Yeah. Do I still have my fingertips? A little bit of everything in that sandwich.
Well, I was working third shift, and we pretty much weren't cutting meat anymore unless somebody came in wanting a sandwich and there wasn't any of a particular meat cut. Then we would have, cause we only kept certain meats cut in the cooler itself for making sandwiches out of. If somebody wanted a special order or something that was in the meat case, then I would have to cut some for them. But I was cleaning up everything, and so I was cleaning the thing and just hit the blade just right where it cut the rag and had a nice little gash in my finger. Like I said, I didn't even feel it. I just see blood on the rag. He's like, "What the?" And I looked. I was like, "Huh, I cut myself." Didn't even realize I did. Like I said, didn't even realize I did it. That's how sharp those blades were. It just went through and just like it was nothing. And then meat slicers is
Yeah,
no
when
joke.
things go bad, they go bad quick.
If that cut would have been any deeper, I probably would have had to have had stitches. It was it was a nasty little cut. It wasn't a big cut, but it was deep. You know what I mean? If it would have been any deeper, probably would have had to have 2 or 3 stitches put in it. Like I got a scar above my left eye from when I was working at Greyhound. I got hit in the head with the bus bin door. The cut wasn't very big, but it was deep enough to where the only way they could get it closed when they took me to the ER because they called the paramedics because how bad it was bleeding. You couldn't tell how bad the cut was. But then when they got to the ER and they got it cleaned up, it was just a little nick, but it was so deep and head wound bleed so much they had to put stitches in it to close it up. The butterflies and stuff that they tried wouldn't work.
Yeah, head wounds are like that a lot of times. They bleed pretty good. Man, long time ago, hanging out at a friend's house. There was this chick there. I mean, I'm talking a long time ago. We're just chilling in the room, like flirting and shit, whatever, bullshitting. Somehow the lights were off, whatever, blah blah. Lady, don't listen to this. Well, needless to state, you know, nothing was really going on, this and that. We both went to get up at the same time, and I bust, like, our heads hit each other. And man, this girl's like eyebrow exploded. Like you could hear the pop and everything. Then we turned the light on, there's blood all over the damn place, shit everywhere. Like I never seen that chick again. I think her parents thought we tried to kill her or some shit. It was crazy. But yeah, so I learned head wounds are bad. They can really be something like look like a damn somebody tried to kill you or something. Blood everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I had this, like I said, I had this little itty bitty nick right above my left eye. Thank God it hit where the corner of that luggage bin door hit where it did. If it would have been a half inch closer, I wouldn't have a left eye right now. But anyway, your lady out there is out there complimenting you. She said you saved her life when she had severed an artery in her ankle with a utility knife.
well, we all know I can't cook, so
Oh, that's all it was. It was he didn't care about you. He just cared about the cooking. He was worried about where he was going to get dinner that night.
nah. Times like that, I don't know. It's like a switch gets hit.
Yeah, the switch.
I'm
Yeah,
on
exactly.
it. So
The switch gets flipped and you're it's just all action at that point. Yeah, you're acting without thought. You know what I mean? It's just boom.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It's like that video where Kentucky Ballistics was explaining what happened to him with his 50 cal, and he said his dad took one look at him and jabbed his thumb in his throat to put the pressure on the
Well,
vein so that he didn't bleed
it's
out.
good thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing he wasn't out there alone, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I consider stuff like that when I go shooting, even alone. Like, I keep first aid and stuff. I try to have water. I know the shortest route out by foot if I had to. You never know. But, if you don't, how do they put it? If you don't, well, I can't think of it. No plan is basically guaranteed failure. You know what I mean? You got to think of these things ahead of time just in case. Sometimes you never think of everything, but shit happens. That's life.
Mm-hmm. Well, she said she's out there saying that you saved her life a few times, and that's why she can't bitch too much when you attempt to make dinner.
She ain't lying.
Goods and Barbecue says that's why you tell everyone to eat a salad or a baked country fried steak. And then Moose says you mean half baked. Man, they just picking on you left and right out there right now, Rob.
You have that. Damn tubers.
uh, didn't catch the beginning of the story Vanessa's telling after, but apparently she got fucked up doing something. Whatever it was, she was rolling so fast it ripped her shirt, sandals, and eyeglasses off of her.
Damn. Giving people a show? You're not supposed to do that.
No, this is bad if you go back and read what she was saying.
Yeah, not good. I mean, it usually only takes one good accident for people to learn. So, remember seeing people screw around playing King of the Hill behind a bulldozer. It didn't work out good. Dude got ran the hell over. So,
That's what happened to
that
her.
wasn't pretty.
This is what happened to her. She was
Yeah.
an old lady.
She's lucky then. She's real lucky.
Oh, yeah. She said an old lady in a white Mercury Marquis whacked her at 70 miles an hour on the inside lane near Centerpiece as she stepped into the road.
Whew. Yeah, that's not good.
She said she hit a car, flew through the air in a ball, hit the ground, and was rolling fast. She thought that she would do when you ice skate in a spin. And she said she extended her arms and legs to try to slow down. End result, never, ever extend arms and legs spinning downhill that fast. Trying to find the rest of the story here. She said that hit. I can't. I don't know what word she was trying to say, but she's got. But her, anyway, I guess it broke her right shoulder blade in half and pushed the half of it into her at a right angle. The shock wave fractured every rib 5 or more times each. Both lungs blew open at the top. Damn, how the hell did you survive that shit? Holy Christ.
Yeah, she's lucky.
Yeah, she says she has burn scars from blacktop on her left hip and side.
Yeah. Seen a kid get hit by a car once, and it still haunts me in a way because I could have stopped it, but it was right outside the bus station in New York City, and just got a ticket. Had it like a 2 hours to kill, and so it went back out. Was going to go down by the arcade, but it's walking out front. There's a group of people standing there. There was a kid that looked like probably 12 or something, and I was only like 17 maybe at the time myself, but probably about 5 feet from the curb. And as I was walking up, like the kid just turned around and just ran right in front of me, like almost hit me, like right towards the street. But I'm thinking, he's a city kid, like he should know better, or whatever. Could have reached out and grabbed him, but I didn't, in fear of getting jumped by everybody standing there. And, like he was going to stop, and now I'm yoking him up, right in front of his people, which wouldn't have turned out well. So I still struggle with that because taking personal responsibility. I should have took a chance because kid got whacked by a car doing like 50, went up like a rag doll, came down on a curb, half on, half off the curb, had started instantly like blowing up and stuff. Like I don't think he made it, and I still feel like shit about that. So I'm shocked she made it at like 70 because this car, if I had to guess, was doing like 50, and with this. It was like a TV show. It was straight up ragdoll. It was horrible. I wish I didn't bring it up. Yeah.
Vanessa says that the surgeons had to vacuum out bone dust for hours during her surgery to fix everything, and new titanium forearm and elbow. She's like one step away from being Lindsay Wagner in The Bionic Woman at this point. Yeah, she's joked about that before, so that's why I made that joke. For those of you who may not understand the history there, there have been chats with Vanessa and some of us other people that were in chats were joking about how she's going to have a gun put in her right arm and all this other stuff. So. If it was somebody else telling the story, I wouldn't have made the joke. So don't go getting all offended, people. Yeah. Anyway, while we were going through that, Jason joined us. How you tonight, Jason?
Oh, I was trying to have dinner till I started listening to your show. Yeah, I sat down to some sloppy joes and I got to hear about fingers cut off, fingerprints cut off, smashed blood, headbutt, fucking nosebleeds, fucking menstrual cycles. I'm like,
No, we
Jesus.
haven't touched on that part.
I threw my fucking plate in the fucking trash.
Sorry, Jason.
He looked at that and all he saw was bloody meat at that point.
Yeah, sloppy joes, man. Fresh buns, melted cheese,
Hey, those are good.
and horror stories of accidents and blood gushing, fucking nerves exposed, bones sticking out. I'm like, jeez, I got like 3/4 of the way through one, and I said, oh, I can't eat no more of this.
Our mission was successful.
It's all Rich's fault.
Hey, I'm not the one that brought this up. Don't pin that on me.
That's right. Blame it on G23.
The G23 move Vanessa Kitty. It's all their fault. They're the ones that started talking about shooting people with nail guns, basically themselves or their boss. From there, it was just a slippery slope downhill because of all the blood, obviously.
I had a boss cut a live wire once, which was hilarious because, he's the freaking boss, so he should know what's going to happen, right? Oh, man. Dude almost peed his pants. It was freaking nuts. I had to stop myself from dying laughing, but Andy used good dikes, like a newer set. Like I was like, oh God, so of course, he burned them up, made a little grooves in the, where the, the wire cutter section, and damn near pissed himself. And then gave me a look like, I don't know, like he wanted to say something, but knew better.
Hi, everybody out there in the chat.
That was fun.
People saying hi. I think Guns and Barbecue said he got a 1911. That's nice.
Yeah, he picked it up on Saturday. I think he said it was a Ruger that he was getting.
Nice.
Pretty sure he said it was an SR 1911.
G23 says he's looking at a Beretta 96. Well, don't look too long.
Yeah,
unless it's in your hand at home.
Yeah, the 96s don't last long. Whenever I see one of them in a store and I debate whether I want to get it or not, go back and it's gone. It's like, oh well.
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest fan of them, but in the 96, yeah, I'd do that one.
Beretta's got some new stuff out, man. Get you a Beretta. They got some different shaped triggers now, mag wells, and
my problem
18 round mags, and gas pedals, and they got it all right now.
Yeah, my problem is I need one that has a frame mounted safety. I can't do those slide mounted safeties on them.
Just get rid of it. Just take it the fuck off. Put a single lever on it with no safety. You don't need a safety. All you need is a decocker. Yeah, I'd take them off, man. Get a Wilson single side lever or get it converted over to a G decocker only and just forget about the safety. You don't ever use it.
Yeah, the last time I was looking at one, it was the 96, but it was police traded. It was the double action only. Man, that thing was nice. It didn't have, and like you said, it didn't even have a decocker on it because it was double action only.
Yeah, you can. I don't like the double action only idea. Triggered, better trigger job parts and stuff don't fit on that double action only gun.
Oh,
And some of them got spurred hammers. They look kind of funny.
Well, this one, the hammer was de-spurred, but it was perfectly rounded to match the back of the.
Yeah, that's what I meant. De-spurred, not spurred.
And but it had a really nice trigger in it from already.
Yeah, it's got what's called the D-spring for double action. That's what I changed a majority of mine over to. Is that spring rate right there? It's a little lighter than original. But it depends. Some guns you buy come with it. It just depends. Most Italian guns do not. Most American guns do. But man, I forget. The spring's only like $6, $8, something like that.
Yeah, it had like maybe a 6-pound trigger in it. It was not a bad trigger for a police firearm like that. That was a police trade-in, and they had 2 of them. And they both of them were really nice. They had nice bluing on them and stuff. I mean, you could tell that there was a little bit of holster wear, but it wasn't excessive. You know what I mean? They were in really good shape. I kick myself every time for not getting one of them. Now, Seven Wonder says he's a huge single action only fan. Yeah, I want to get one of those SIG P226 single action onlys. Those are really nice, but they're also expensive. Patriot says he wants the stainless SIG 1911, the We the People edition one. Vanessa says she's not getting any new guns until she finishes some projects, rather. And Seven says that he wants the new SIG pistol AR-15-ish gun. Oh, that's the what do they call that thing? The MPX, I think is what that is. Is that what that is? The SIG basic, their little PCC. Are you guys still there? Did y'all fall asleep? Hello.
I'm here, just roughing up the cat.
Oh. Yeah, I think they say get your what their 7's the MPX, if I remember correctly. At least I think that's the pistol caliber carbine one anyway.
Snack time.
We haven't, Rob. Bloody Mary.
Temptations jumbo stuffed savory salmon flavor.
So you're eating the cat treats.
No, just dishing them out.
Only a real pussy to eat cat treats.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa says her birthday is December 1st. She turned 60. How she made it to 60 seems like a miracle. Yeah. Considering what you said happened to you when that woman hit you with the car, that's for sure. And Seven says that his SIG P226 Legion single action only is his favorite gun. Right. Yeah, Vanessa's is December 1st. G23's is December 11th, and Patriots is December 16th. Were you guys? Were you? Vanessa then says her little sister's birthday is December 12th. Were you all the ones that your parents didn't like you very much, and you all got your Christmas gift as your birthday gift as well?
They all grew up on the same street.
Oh, that happened to my uncle. My uncle would get one gift at Christmas. It was marked as Happy Birthday, and the next would be marked Happy Birthday because his was December 23rd. He'd be celebrating Christmas and his birthday the same day.
Yeah, I used to have a girlfriend. Her birthday was Christmas. And I had another girlfriend. Her birthday was Valentine's Day.
Uh, Apparently, Moo's sister is a garden implement. Wrong kind of
So
hoe.
did they all have the same mailman or what? Those birthdays are lined up pretty close.
Well, check this out. My son's birthday is March 5th. My brother-in-law's birthday is March 3rd. My one brother's birthday is March 11th, and mine is March 15th. My youngest daughter's birthday is April 12th. My grandfather's was April 19th. The birthdays come in bunches. G23 says, yeah, he had to choose between his birthday and Christmas. And she
That's
says,
why he's such a miserable human being, huh?
Yeah. And Vanessa says that their mom used to combine their birthday cake into one. Yeah, that my brother and I would get that. The party would be for both of us. So he'd have his friends there, I'd have my friends there, and the cake would have both our names on it. And we had to agree what kind of cake we wanted. Oh, Jesus. Patriot says that Midnight's birthday is also December 16th. Seven says his biological father's birthday is December 25th.
Bunch of December people out there.
Yeah. Happy anniversary, Seven. He says tomorrow is his 30th wedding anniversary. Wife canceled their trip.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he said his wife canceled their trip to the beach where they got married because he has a nasty ankle injury.
Damn, man.
Good for you.
You didn't shoot yourself with a nail gun by any chance, did you? There was a lot
He
of that
needs a
going on earlier.
vacation. Should have went anyway.
30-year wedding anniversary. He's probably heard about that every day for the last 6 months.
G23 says his attorney's birthday is December 18th.
You got to be one hell of a criminal to be sending your attorney birthday cards and shit.
Yeah, Vanessa says October 5th is their 12th anniversary. You know, I think everybody's just content that they ruined your meal, Jason, because after you came in and said that, nobody's talking about bloody accidents anymore.
I could probably eat a little more, but all this fucking wedding talk's about ready to make me throw up.
This is because you haven't had any luck.
I celebrate my separation, man. Nothing tastes better than freedom.
G23 says he keeps an attorney on retainer.
Yep, that's a sign of a criminal.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't know if that speaks well for his criminality or if his wife should be worried. Vanessa says, please eat your sandwiches. She apologizes for the gore talk.
It's too late, man. All this marriage talk, man. I'm fasting now. I'll just try to starve myself to death.
Yeah. Patriot says, you could finish that wood AK for him for his birthday. He said that would be a wonderful gesture.
All right, boys. I'm done. I'll see y'all tomorrow or something.
Hey, see you, Kingpin.
All right,
Have a
later,
good night,
dude.
guys. See you later,
Take
everybody.
care, Kingpin.
Peace.
I noticed, Patriot, that Rob doesn't have any comment on that.
Couldn't just let it go.
Come on. Really? You expect us to just let things go? You know us better than that by now, surely.
Oh, we ran Kingpin off.
Yeah, he probably worked all day. If it was like yesterday, he worked like 12 hours yesterday. He said today was probably going to be just as bad, maybe worse. G23 says his attorney is a great friend and he grew up with her husband. Huh? So he's moving in on his attorney is what the deal is here. Okay, we see how this is now. The retainer was code for something else apparently.
So basically, he's her bitch, huh?
Vanessa says that she's going to be mixing concrete tomorrow. And then your other half say that's never fun. So I'm assuming she's commiserating with Vanessa.
Well, yeah. Yeah, she doesn't like that part. Mixing concrete. It's a pain. Every time we get into it, she's yelling at me about buying a mixer, and I'm like, oh, well, the next job. And then the next job comes around, and it's like, it's only 30 bags. We got this. And
No.
she ends up mixing most of it because I'm setting this or doing that. And then I'm reminded of what an asshole I am. So it's a rough time. Speaking of, I should really get a mixer.
Yeah, when she says that you need to get a mixer, say, why? I got you.
No.
Yeah, see, she says she yells at you because
she's small, but she ain't a pushover.
She says she yells at you because she mixes it all. See, you are his mixer. He just doesn't want to admit it. If you quit going on jobs with him, then he'll have to get a mixer. See, then you can go start working on the jobs again now.
Let's just say, it'd be beneficial to call a truck in as much as I can in the future. But yeah, at some point I should get a mixer as well.
Vanessa got a mixer. She said the neighbors gave her a mixer. They changed out the switches and they gave him an old trailer. So basically, they swapped the mixer for an old trailer.
Might have been a good deal, I guess. Depends how bad you need it, what type of mixer, and the type of trailer and condition and all that. But as long as you're happy, and it'll definitely make your life easier.
Yeah, that she's using it to work on her patio. So that might be that may have been a good investment. G23 is out there telling your lady that she needs to go on strike until you get a mixer.
He's not allowed to talk to her. I forbid it, damn it. Woman, stop causing stars. Stop. Damn it, I can't even talk. Stop starting shit over here.
She says it's good exercise. So apparently she isn't as upset about mixing the concrete as she lets on.
Okay, so this is working both ways. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I've seen issues with mixers. It's funny as she says that they change the switches and stuff because there's a few that I've seen on job sites that every once in a while will shock the shit out of you for some reason. So was never mine, so I never looked into it or whatever. But it always made you wonder. Yeah, a little hesitant on touching it sometimes. But so I wonder if there was something similar with the switches on the ones that they changed and gave to her. So just be careful.
Now apparently Vanessa's used the mixer because she says it's fun to use. So she must have got the switches right and everything. So.
Cool.
Moo is saying mixing concrete is a euphemism. Now, in this case, I think everybody's just talking about mixing concrete. Moo, get your head out of the gutter. Yeah, she said the switch and current limiters needed replacing. She, in this case, being
I wonder
Vanessa.
how hard it would be to make one. Like you figure, like an old washing machine, you might be able to use a tub somehow. I don't know. Maybe
But the tubs have holes in them, so yeah, you'd have to see all those holes.
Trying to think, like,
You need,
and then
you
the
need
washing
something in
machine
it
motor, maybe.
You need something in it to agitate it to make it flip and tumble when it turns, like
garden weasel.
Yeah,
like
or maybe a dryer, like a dryer drum. It's got the fins inside. Then use a washer motor, but use low current. Yeah.
Yeah, we used when we had the trailer, and we had the, every so often you got to retard a roof on the trailer with with that metallic tar shit. We used to use a garden weasel to stir that shit up. Stick the garden weasel in the drill and stir that shit with the garden weasel. It was a hell of a lot easier
I've got paddles for that, drill paddles. Yeah, same thing for paint or joint compound. Like, I'll never mess with compound without whipping it.
Yeah,
my wife. The difference, I think, is night and day.
My wife looked at the tools that they had in the roofing section for that tar, and then she saw the garden weasel. She put the other thing back and got the garden weasel because it was like $10 cheaper. It looked almost the exact same thing. Yeah, it worked well.
Good to know.
Yeah. For like tar and stuff, because of the way the blades go, because it's on that thing, yeah, it stirs that stuff up really good. Your lady saying that you're a cheap bastard, make a mixer from a washer.
Yeah, but it might be badass, man.
Vanessa said the one she has is a Harbor Freight one. Yeah, check Harbor Freight and See how much they want for their mixers. See how good quality they look.
Have a good one, Patriot.
Patriots out. Okay, later, Patriot.
Take care, Patriot.
I got 80 pounds of lead on the way this week.
You gonna be casting?
I'm gonna start to get into it. Got to start with getting the lead first. So
What did it cost you?
I bought some molds, but I'm still waiting on the melting pot I want's out of stock right now. Oh, the lead, it cost me a shitload.
Sure, you don't need anything special. You get yourself just a cast iron pot, like Walmart or somewhere, and use that. A small cast iron pot.
I got a bunch of lead.
No, I'm gonna either get the Lee pot. If it don't come in stock soon enough, then I'll buy this nicer one from RCBS. But collecting the things to get casting.
That's all we used to use was like a little cast iron pot that my uncle got a couple of them from like Kmart or somewhere back in the day, and that's what we used for making fishing sinkers. And it's basically the same thing. You're doing basically the same thing to make sinkers as you when you're casting bullets. You don't need anything super fancy like a Lee or anything like that for actually melting the lead. You see something that you can heat up on like a little Bunsen burner or some shit like that.
Haven't you seen the Patriot? You ain't no fancy stuff out there in the fire pit, melting those army men.
Yeah,
Come on now.
I'm trying to make better quality than Mel Gibson.
Oh, that wasn't good enough musket ball.
The lead's going to turn out the same either way. I mean,
this was pewter.
All you're doing buying that fancy brand name stuff is wasting money because it's not going to be any damn different.
Well, you got to control your temperature just right, man.
Well, you can do
for
that
your
with
lead and your mold to
Just
work
skim
right.
all that off the top and
Your bullets
wait
to
till
come
it's
out
deep
right.
white and good to go.
Yeah, but you can do that with the simple pot and a simple flame burner, man. You don't need all that fancy stuff for that.
Yeah, you need all the fancy.
Jason's top shelf.
No, he's just being a sucker and buying all the really expensive stuff that isn't necessary. I mean, when it comes to your press and your gauges and your scale and all that shit, yeah, you want the good stuff. But for melting the lead, you don't need all that super fancy stuff.
He's not like us, Rich. He's not going to build his own cement mixer.
Well, you know what? I'm not either.
No, I buy the best one they sell. Yeah, but I've been looking around and made a few phone calls, like scrounging up scrap lead and wheel weights and stuff. Pretty much not going to happen around here.
What about plumbers? You know any plumbers?
I might have to travel to a different town.
Plumbers will come across it, and roofers, like pipe boots, chimney people. A lot of chimneys, they use lead wedges to put the flashing in, or used to. Some of us still do, but it's getting rarer and rarer. But you can find stuff there as well. Also, battery terminals, not the batteries themselves, but the connections on the wires that connect to them. So if you stumble across those, or they're bad or something like that, you could save those as well.
Yeah, car batteries used to be a really good source of lead.
Yeah. I'm thinking the part you're bolting onto the battery,
Yeah.
A lot of time, I mean, it's best not to screw with those if nothing's wrong with yours. But if you got one of them cars where somebody replaced them with the aftermarket ones, and they, go to shit or end up busting, it's lead. So you replace them, those old ones, something you could probably melt down.
If you know a place where they recycle car batteries and they take all that, dump all the acid and shit out, and then they clean the insides. If you can get one of those hauls for one of them, they used to mine those things with lead. That's why they're as heavy as they are. Used to be able to get a decent amount of lead out of a car battery. But you don't want to go messing with the acid by yourself, because one wrong move and you get a nasty chemical burn. You got to get it from somewhere where
baking
there's
soda and water.
Yeah.
Have like a bowl next to you if you're messing with stuff like that, in case anything gets on you. Dip your hands in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I recommend going through all that for lead, because that's
why I said
you really working for it.
Yeah, that's why I said you got to go somewhere where they're disposing of the car batteries, where they've already dealt with all the chemicals and everything, and all that's left is like the shell with the lead inside of it. Usually, you can get there was a place my uncle used to go where they would sell them he would just buy the empty battery hull with the old lead in it, and then we would melt that down to make the sinkers and stuff like that out of.
Yeah, for bullet making, you can't just use any old lead. I mean,
yeah, you can. You got to clean it up first.
Well, no, like you can get even like your wheel weights and everything, clean them all up, but the lead ain't hard enough. You'll have to buy like super hard lead and mix it with it. Test out your batch. Test the hardness. There's a lot of experiment and testing and what you got and messing with it all the time. I'd rather just start out with good lead that's already got the hardness that I'm looking for, and go with it for right now.
Well, you get the good lead, but then you mix it with the cheap lead to make your supply expand your supply. And as you boil that cheap lead, it starts to get rid of the contaminants and stuff as you boil it, and then you end up with better lead that way as well. So you don't just start boiling and then lead and then mixing. You pouring your molds. You got to do it a few times to refine whatever lead you're getting out of, say, the batteries or the wheel weights and stuff like that. It's the same thing with the sinkers. You don't just go right and melt the lead and pour it into a sinker mold. You got to do the same thing you're doing with the bullets. You got to refine it to get it to where you get all those imperfections out of it. Because if you get a sinker that has imperfections in it and you go to cast it, it hits that water, the water surface tension can crack that sinker in half, and your sinker's useless.
Yeah, I've been dealing with all the casters and reading all my books and checking into it and stuff. I mean, there's certain hardnesses. I mean, you got to match it to what you're reloading. Like 15, 16 Burrell hardness on the tester. That's good for like 20,000 pounds of pressure in your bullet coming out of your barrel. So I can load that for 45 ACP and only be running around 16, 17,000 pounds of pressure. But you go to like for that hardness there, it's called like hardball lead. Like that maxes out at like 20,000 PSI. But your standard 9mm, it's running 30,000 PSI. So you need something in the Burrell hardness scale up around like 22, 23, something up in there. If you tried to run the same lead I wanted to make a 45 out of through a 9mm, it'd probably explode in your hands. That bullet the lead would come apart before it even made it out the end of your barrel. I mean, you just can't just grab any old lead and here, I'll make it work. Yeah, maybe for a muzzle loader or something, some weak black powder in it or something. But you got to pay attention with your handguns here. You can't just, fuck around. I mean, I want to stick homemade bullets in a $1,500 gun. You know what I mean? I'm not buying like 2-cent lead and experimenting and fucking with it, man. You know what I
mean? Don't be a cheap bastard.
Well, you got to remember, the cheap lead bullet that you're making for your muzzle loading rifle is going to be moving at a higher velocity than your handgun round is, even standard modern handgun round.
Now the black powdered lead for stuff like that is like really soft. You can use soft lead for that. It's just a ball, and it's got to
No,
expand
they're
to.
not
It's
all
got to.
just balls, Jason. You got bullets for muzzle loaders, man. That's not just a ball. You got the mini. There's mini ball, or you can even do standard like hollow points and stuff for a muzzle loader now. It's not. It's not like back during the American Revolution days, where it was just you shove a ball down it. All the muzzleloaders using balls. You're using a bullet. You're using a conical shaped bullet, and they even have jacketed bullets for muzzleloaders.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta understand. It's just like the rest of reloading. I mean, there's certain standards and recipes, and that's for a reason. You just don't go winging it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying
They have standards published and set, so you don't blow yourself up.
That's what I'm saying. You get the good lead that's at a higher hardness than what you need, and you get the cheap lead, and you mix them together, and you refine them together, and you create the actual lead you need. But like you said, it's experimenting, and with your work schedule, you may not have time to do all that.
Shit, I don't know
really
shit.
pretty
So I'm
much
just putting it out there for the record. What Jason says makes sense to me about the hardness, just like with bolts and shit like that. You can't just throw any bolt anywhere. You know what I mean? You can, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for long, So it makes sense to me about the hardness and the pressure. So I'm sure there is a formula to it. But I also think Rich is probably on so where you probably could poor man mix shit in and this and that and get it, but you'd have to keep that in mind more than likely and get the, not just be like me and buy a mold off eBay and mix it up and pop a few together and go see what happens.
That you don't want to do. You want to make sure, like Jason was saying, that you have the right recipe for your bullet.
Yeah, I'll be sure to keep that in mind now.
Yeah, and if you have the time to come up with the right, a higher hardness mixed with the lower hardness to come out with the hardness you need for your bullet or your sink, your fishing sink or whatever, then you can do the experimentation. But if you're someone like Jason, I get where he's coming from. I'm talking like in general, you can, if you got the time to do it, you can get that together and you actually make your lead supply go farther.
Yeah. See, I got to come up with something a little special on the 9mm side, because the Berettas have a big bore. They have a bigger barrel, a bore barrel, than a regular 9mm. I've read once that it's like that because
they need a Magnum round.
No, they made it like a normal 9mm is like 3.55. That's how big the bullet is. That's 0.355. And then you go to like 38 special 357 Magnum. It's 0.357. Well, Beretta's barrels, instead of being 355, they are 357. They're 358. The military wanted it to work in case you like dropped your magazine and picked up a dirty bullet and threw it in a gun. It's still got to work, right? So there's more accuracy. Even though the guns are accurate, there's more accuracy to be gained to sticking a fatter bullet through that barrel. So the Berettas have the ability, if you're going to reload, you can get a 38 special bullet. Get like a 125 grain, 124 grain, 38 special bullet. And you can run them through a Beretta. Or you can cast a regular 9mm bullet, which before you size it is going to be bigger. So it's probably going to come out just about the size I want it. And I'll pretty much size a 9mm bullet to like 357 size. It wouldn't chamber in a Glock or a Smith & Wesson, I'm sure, but it'll work in my gun. So I got to do some experimenting, work up some loads, work up some bullets, but that's my plan for casting over on the 9mm side. Come up with something that fits my gun better.
You could, but in theory, cast the 9mm mini ball.
I don't know if you're feeding a semi-automatic gun, dude.
Why wouldn't they? They'd be in a regular 9mm case. You know what a mini ball is, right? It's your basic conical bullet.
It's like sort of like a round nose, but it's cupped out hollow in the back, though.
Yeah, it's hollow in the back, so when the pressure hits, it expands it and it causes it to rifle it. That's what they used to use in the Civil War in the revolvers and the rifles. It was a big it was a big thing. Basically, the bullet expands to meet the barrel bore. It was how they got it to where every single weapon that the mini ball is what it first enabled them to have universal molds for bullets, where every rifle didn't have have to have the mold matched to the rifle.
The modern day stuff, like a semi-automatic, I mean, you got to watch it. There's very few hollow-based bullets you could buy. Like Barry's makes some, but I mean, you got to watch your load on those bullets. That hollow base sounds all great and everything, but like a high pressure 9mm, it doesn't need that. And when you try to run a hollow base, it's just going to expand that bullet way too much.
That's why I said in theory. Yeah. In theory.
Yeah, modern day stuff's the chambers and the throat and the rifling is just a little different than 100 years ago.
Again, that's why I said in theory you could do that. I didn't say you want to do that in practice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a little larger 9mm than like I said, what typical people would. I'm still gonna try like the typical size. I gotta work my way up this and see what performs. But at some point, I'll find something that's pretty good, and then I'll keep going till I slide back and make something bad, and then I'll just back up a little bit. I mean, the cost, it's even with buying expensive lead, which all the casters hate. But man, I'm telling you, like, I can't even buy tires in my fucking town. That is a hassle. There's no way of getting like hundreds of pounds of free wheel weights. They like reuse the wheel weights here, man. You go to get new tires, they put used wheel weights on your shit. There's no source for that. There's only like 2 tire stores in my whole town, and one of them is, I mean, I swear I went in there one time, man, and they were all like on crack and shit. You could smell it, man, and they were all screwed up. And I didn't want to do business with them, and the other ones
scrapping that shit.
Like a small family shop, dealt with them for years, but they're just they get a lot of business, but it's nothing fancy. It's just an old rundown old building, all dirty stuff, and they reuse their wheel weights. There's no getting that off of them.
Yeah.
So,
no, there is a lead shortage. So.
But even buying the pre-processed lead for casting, it's still cheaper. It's still cheaper. I was figuring out for the bullets that I was buying, for the same price that I'm buying bullets for at just like at the 100 price for 100, that same amount of money in, well, $5 less in lead, and I can get 175 bullets. So for every 200, the amount of money I would spend just to get 200 bullets, I could have 350 bullets and save $10 casting it myself. So
yeah, I don't know if Vanessa's talking to you or not, Jason, but she's saying to look up Nuclead Corp in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She said they will make it in whatever hardness you need. I'm guessing she's talking to you on that, because I don't see that being the concrete that they were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I've come across a couple places that got the lead. There's different choices. You have different choices of what you get. What I got coming right now is what's called hardball. It's what I'm going to do for 45 ACP. But maybe next time I order, I'll get some stuff that's good enough for 9mm. Now there's guys that'll use it and the same for 9mm, but like I said, you got to start low and work your way up, and you're still going to end up with a low pressure, plinking round with it. So I just want to get the right lead that it's supposed to have that I can deal with. It'll be fun. It's been a lot of fun so far, man. I like learning new things, so it's something to get into. Once I've mastered it, a few years down the line here, then maybe I'll be into scrounging wheel weights and whatever, and adding to it and doing different things. But for now, uh, I'll start out with nice clean lead that's already set up for the hardness that I need. Because it's expensive, but it ain't that expensive.
Yeah, the company
It's not what the prices I looked up. It's not what the prices were a couple years ago. So might as well get it now, because who knows what the price is going to be 2 years from now.
she said the company that she is talking about that she deals, it's the one she deals with. They do hardball, lineman too, and a bunch of other different ones.
Yeah,
Is brass still hard to find, or at a premium?
yeah. Out of stock. Out of stock. You want brand new brass that's unloaded, out of stock. Pick any caliber you want, out of stock. Go to any store you want, out of stock.
It's because it's all going to the companies right now. And don't forget, there is a, people don't realize it, but there actually, and contrary to what Squibb seems to think, there actually is a lead shortage because the EPA has cut back on how much lead you are allowed to mine in the United States.
Yeah, hey, obnoxious out there at Orange Man. Yeah, I was gonna go out to at my range, and there's usually a trustee up in there, mowing the yard, doing something. And, I'm gonna see if I can't dig out the hill, get the lead out of the hill we're shooting at.
Vanessa says the Cabela's there is bare in the department. Yeah, you see that a lot. And evening, Obi.
The guns are slowly starting to creep back in, but you know, ammo, primers, powder, man, that shit's like unicorns, man.
Every so often you can find ammo around here, but
Oh,
depends
we
on what
got a
you're
little
looking for.
ammo too, just a little, but uh, it's like $24, $26 for a box of 9mm. I mean, that's
Mhm.
ridiculous, man. It's $49 for a box of 45 ACP.
Mhm.
You're like, what? Oh, you can get a deal. You can get 200 rounds of 45 ACP for like $80, $79.99. Like
Yeah, I don't call
I
that
love
available.
I love the people that own the store. They treat me great. They're like family. I love it all. But man, I can't give them that for the ammo. I can't.
It's
Yeah, I'll give them whatever they want for a gun that I want. But man, I can't pay those prices. For the ammo. I can't. I just can't.
it's available. Nobody said it was available cheaply. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's just too extreme in some cases. Some of it. I mean, I've seen it too, where there'll be some, but the prices are just so high. It's like I don't know. You'd have to. I just. I couldn't see justifying buying it unless you just bought a gun and didn't realize. You know what I mean? Other than that, it's like, especially if you got ammo at home, I can't justify buying that.
You got to watch right now. Keep your eye on Winchester ammo. I don't recommend buying any of it in any caliber that they got. If you go to their website, it's like a couple times a week, maybe a week or two go by, but it's at least every couple of weeks and every month. They are recalling all their ammo. You go to their website and there's like thousands of lot numbers or hundreds of lot numbers. I mean, you got to look up to check your ammo to see if the box of ammo you just paid too much for is on recall and you can't use it.
No, the
I
only
mean,
Winchester.
Winchester's quality is like, that's just ridiculous, man. For as dangerous as it could be for bad ammo, uh, and they're just selling it, putting it out as fast as they can. They knew in the factory, they knew in their quality control when things was wrong. So instead of sorting out a lot or going through it or checking out, they just go ahead and ship it out the door to the customers. And that's screw them, man.
The only Winchester ammo that was ever worth a damn anyway is the damn shotgun stuff. The rifle ammo, pistol ammo, it's all garbage. It always was.
I've always had great luck with Winchester. Great luck. Never had any problems. They always seem consistent. They work fine. It's one of the ones I've stocked over the years. I haven't bought any recently, but I'm sure every company can start screwing up more than not at times. So sorry to hear that about Winchester, but I've always had great luck with them.
I've never. It's always underpowered and whatnot. Whenever my buddy would chronograph the stuff, when we were trying to decide what we want to carry or what we're going to use, that's easy for deer or what have you. Winchester's was always underpowered compared to the other brands. The only stuff from Winchester.
I basically bought it for target shooting, shit, stuff like that. Shit hits the fan or whatever. But for years I've never had a problem with any of the Winchester I've had. Remington has been issues, or that UMC stuff I've seen issues with, but
really,
that's why I've always stuck with Winchester or Federal. Federal's my first. Like, I don't know what people think about Federal, but I've had great luck with Federal too. So even their Federal 22, Remington, man, nothing but a headache. But the Winchester or Federal, it's, I run through a whole box and usually don't even have a dud.
Like you said,
like a 550 box or whatever.
Yeah, the Remington UMC, that was always crap. If you get like the standard green and white box, it doesn't say UMC on it, or if you're getting like what the hell is the?
Yeah, there's the yellow box and there's the green box.
Yeah, and then you have,
and then there's Remington Range.
Yeah,
which I've never had a problem with Remington Range, believe it or not.
Yeah, but their 22 is not very good. What's the 22 one that they have, that the cheap 22 that they do?
Thunderbolt.
Golden duds.
Yeah, that stuff's no good. But their defensive hollow points, what the hell do they call that stuff? It's gold something. I can't remember what the hell the name of it is. But those aren't bad.
Golden.
Yeah,
I forget what they call.
Yeah, I can't remember
Golden
what it is.
I don't buy it. I only buy CCI.
I don't have any complaints about their defensive.
Oh, you're talking about Golden Sabers.
Yeah, that. Thank you. Yeah, the Gold Saber. That's what I was trying to remember. I knew it was gold something, but I couldn't remember what it was. No, Gold Dot's Spear, Tim S.
Spear. Yeah, that UMC stuff. I've had that where, like, I was loading it in magazines and I thought, like, they gave me the wrong bullets for a minute because they were all different sizes going down the magazine. So I start setting them on a table and I'm looking and they're all different heights. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, actually,
one hit's good. The next one, you're like, oh man, did that actually fire? And you're looking and, like, yeah, it left the barrel, and then you shoot and it's okay, and then you shoot, like, every shot felt different. It was like, geez, I'm never buying this shit again.
Really, man, once you get the stuff and you're reloading and you're learning reloading and you got all stuff, you start checking out what factory ammo you do have and just go through and measure it, and the measurements will be all over the place, and you're like, why am I paying for this garbage? I can see the bullet in my press over here. I could seat 100 of them, or I could seat 1,000 of them, and every one of them will measure exactly the same. Now, how can a ammo producer, with their money and their equipment and everything, not have a bit of fucking quality to their stuff? It's because they don't care. They're shoving it out as fast as they can. They don't care. They have mass-produced machines, different employees, different maintenance men, different operators, different setups, and they just got a too loose of a standard of you know they got too much tolerance in their mind. Well, they're trying to make a bullet too that'll fit in every gun. You know what I mean? I get that too, but they can't stay consistent. You can pick up any box in by and start measuring it, and it'll jump all over the place. So if they can't even control their bullet seating depth, they're not controlling their powder charge. It's going to be off. So when you got one that's got different powder in it, and the bullet's different than the next one before, and you go shooting, and your group's 5 inches big, and you think, oh, well, I suck, or it's my gun, or whatever. No, it's most likely probably your fucking ammo.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling when you're wondering if it left the barrel. And definitely stay away from that UMC stuff. So I've had bad luck. I know other people have said that they've ran it and it's been fine. Maybe I just got bad lots. I don't know, but the couple times I've tried it, because I did give it more than one chance, it was the same way, and you can just visibly see it. Like, they were just different.
Yeah, the good thing about Remington now, though, is once they get fully back up and everything, they are now going to basically be another name for Federal, because they're under the same roof, just like Spear and CCI and Blazer and all that. So their quality will probably come up, because I don't see the ownership putting up with the same crap that they were being able to get away with under the Remington umbrella.
Just really, man. In this America that we live right now, and with the shortage, we used to bitch shit made in China was junk quality. Pretty much a lot of stuff in America has gone quality to hell. And just like ammo and stuff right now, there is bad quality. They're trying to kick it out as fast as they can to try to make up for the shortage instead of making a quality product. Nobody cares about a quality product anymore. Everybody wants cheapest. They want to make it the cheapest, no matter whose job they cut, no matter where they go to get their materials or outsource their machining or whatever. It's always for them cheaper to manufacture. But the price for us to buy keeps going up and up and up, and the quality just ain't there. From bullets to brand new cars to lumber in this that we buy here to everything, man. You have to search for quality, man. And it's almost sometimes hard to find.
I agree to that.
Now, speaking of new cars, have you decided if you're going to get that Ford pickup
Mavericks,
car thing?
All the initial reports is them things are falling apart within the first month. They sent out like 2,500 of them or something. Wasn't even for sale, and they're like all coming back, falling apart. They're 100% made in Mexico. Like everything, man. Like, which some stuff made in Mexico is fine, but not the whole damn car. They just, I don't know, they don't have the quality down there either. And those everything with that whole Ford lineup, the Mavericks that are coming out, the Broncos, all that's a big flop. They're all junk. They're going to lose billions on that, file for bankruptcy. They're junk. They're junk. Even their designs are junk. Hell, they got brand new Ford Broncos. The drive shafts are falling out on them while they're sitting there parked.
I heard they were like way too small. And
falls out, breaks while it's parked.
The roofs were leaking and stuff like that already right on the lot. Yeah, I heard they had a lot of problems.
Yeah, I heard the Mavericks are having transmission problems, electrical issues, and that's bad. Like a mechanical, like a transmission or some gears or something, they can know how to fix that. When a vehicle has electrical problems, it's doomed. It's doomed.
Yeah, Vanessa says the roofs are busting apart.
And really, just ain't Ford, man. Chevrolet shit's all falling apart. Dodge shit always did fall apart. I mean, these new cars are junk.
Yeah. Well, it's a new way they're doing things. They're expecting them to be in a junk, like they're 3 owners and in the junkyard within 7 years now.
Yeah.
Most companies are leaning that way. It used to be like 10 years, and prior to that, in some cases longer. And there was a period where people were trying to make vehicles that last and this and that. But those days are over pretty much. I recommend people buy an older vehicle and pay to have it basically rebuilt with old stock if you can.
Yeah,
it might not be flashy, but it look like a new car and it'll last twice as long.
Yeah.
And the maintenance won't be half as much.
The new Ford and Chevy, I don't know, 5 years ago, started a thing. They put together and spent billions of dollars to build a 10-speed transmission. Ford and Chevy worked on it together. It was going to be like a universal transmission. This transmission will fit in the GM cars. It'll fit in the Ford cars. This is going to be the future. There'll be such great transmissions. They got 10 speeds. They do all this and that. They're totally junk. They don't even last. They didn't even last. They already recalled every one of them, and they were only put on the market for a couple years. Now Chevy completely dropped them and Ford completely dropped them. So they threw 5 to 10 years and billions of dollars in research and development. They just throwed it all down the toilet because they tried to make a 10-speed transmission. Nobody needs a 10-speed transmission. That's the part that they didn't realize. You don't need it. You just made it super complicated, and you tried to fit 4 times as many parts in the same area, so all the parts had to become smaller and weaker, and the whole thing was just a cluster. And it's just a hot mess, and those are junk. And if you own a vehicle that's got one of them in it, you've probably already had it as a dealer, because those transmissions are terrible. Nobody even makes them anymore, and that's just like wasted money and wasted technology. And now they can't even do nothing right. Like Ford's got the trucks recalled because the steering breaks in them. Chevy's got problems with their steering too, man. They got like electronic computer controlled steering, and 1 minute you got normal steering, the next minute you got super tight steering, next minute you got loose steering. All that's on recall. And, they don't have very many cars out there because they're all sitting in parking lots waiting on computer chips and stuff. They're junk. And if they're $50,000. I mean, they're selling you a $50,000 pickup truck that don't even got bolts on it. Half of everything on it just snapped together. Your fenders, your grills. There ain't even metal bumpers on nothing anymore. That's thin little nothing metal, man. These vehicles are just...
Sound like me now.
They tech them all out. Oh, look at all the neat stuff and the technical this and the that and the internet and all that, and then the whole rest of the truck.
Half the shit people don't use anyway.
I was wondering what was going on, and I was pointing it out. I kept seeing the brand new Chevys with the funny front fenders and the LED, like V-shaped lights on the front of them and everything. I kept seeing them all the time on tow trucks, flatbeds, brand new trucks. I was seeing them a couple a day all the time. I was like, what's up with all these brand new trucks that are on tow trucks? You know what I mean? They break down. What's up? I was looking one day on the internet. They've been having it for years, but it got worse, I guess. They had the rear ends made down in Mexico, and the tension on your differential, there's a certain amount of pressure it holds to keep posi, and then posi has to let go, or you won't be able to turn a corner nicely. You know what I mean? Their rear ends were so sloppy. They were showing, I watched the videos, they had brand new trucks, brand new, took them apart, and they were sloppy inside like they had 250,000 miles on them. They didn't preload the bearings in them to the correct tolerances, nothing. They were junk. So now all the rear ends are breaking on them, on top of all their other problems. I mean, this is shit that they should never have a problem with. I mean, you've been building cars for 110 years. You ain't figured out. I mean, you built rear ends in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s that you can't even hurt them. You can't even blow them up. How come you can't do that in 2021? I mean, it's all quality control. Well, there is none. It's all cheap. It's all cheap, and all the workers want paid $75 an hour and refuse to lift something more than 15 pounds. You know.
You think it's like the EPA, or you think it's just greed? You think these companies are forced to do this to try to meet the standards, or maybe? I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know 100% why, but I agree with you. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, when you can go lean on a new truck and possibly dent the fenders, that's a problem. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Every one of them for years. Every one of them for years. You hear it all the time. They're closing a plant. They're closing a plant. They're shifting, production to here or there or whatever. Every time you hear those words, that means a whole bunch of people just lost their job. You know what I mean? Their own mismanagement. I mean, it's nothing but mismanagement. If you have to end up closing a factory that's been there and well established for years, there was mismanagement somewhere. You ran that into the ground. Closing that and ending the production there and ending all their jobs, that should be like a last resort. But they don't. It's not a last resort to them anymore. They count on that. They're doing corporate stuff to make billions on them, and they don't care about the workers. They don't care about the people buying their cars. They don't care about nothing. They care about the money. And that's all there is to it. I mean, they could easily build a car that doesn't pollute very bad, made big and tough. It'll go 200,000-300,000 miles before you have any little problem with it, and they could do it for $20,000. But they never will. They'll sell you a piece of shit that lasts 2 years for $50,000, and by the time you get done with that, the next one's going to cost $65,000. They don't care about you. They don't care about their product. They don't make nothing tough. This metal on this stuff is super thin. Like I said, go work on a new car. There ain't even bolts. 90% of that son of a bitch is snapped together on an assembly line. Stuff that shouldn't be. I mean, like they used to have big bumpers on a car. You used to be able to run into something, bang into something, and not even hurt it, not even scratch it. We used to sit on
30
top
mile
of
an hour impact.
4 or 5 of us sit on the hood of a car. Go sit on the hood of your car right now and watch what happens. That son of a bitch will dent all the way down to the engine.
Yeah, it pisses me off, the whole bumper thing. And you notice the cost of all these new bumpers, like the plastic itself isn't that it can be, but if you buy cheaply, look online and shit, it isn't that bad. But getting it painted to match, that's where it starts getting up there. Like it's like they're just made to bust apart. Like you look at them funny. Where years ago you could brush up against backing in a parking spot and tap the rail in the winter and your bumper doesn't shatter, or somebody bumps into you because they're not looking on their cell phone, because back then, I don't know, but whatever, bumps into you at a red light and your ass end isn't destroyed. Like it's amazing. But now everything's meant to crush and cost you a shitload of money.
Here's an example.
Gotta be super safe.
My boss, it might have been 2 years ago now, but just a year or two ago, he had a brand new GMC dually, like the 3500 truck, big 4-door dually with the diesel, totally decked out, everything, even the leather inside. Man, this is like a $80,000-$90,000 pickup truck. All right. And he put that, I don't know what you call them, the bumper bar, bull bar, push bar, whatever, the Texas Rancher type chrome loop thing that goes in the front of your bumper to make you look like you're a rancher or some shit. Well, he put one of those great big steel, 3-4 inch tube loop things across the front of that bumper and lights and stuff. And right down the street from his house, which is only like 25, 35 mile an hour streets, he wasn't paying attention, and there was a Honda Accord stopped at the stop sign, and he ran into the back of that Honda Accord. The front bumper on that truck wasn't hurt at all, except that whole great big massive chrome steelness of front bumper bent like a Pepsi can and basically was falling off of the truck, laying on the ground, bent completely back into itself and over. Like, it wasn't even as strong as the fenders on that truck. And that's a dually, man. A
Wow.
dually. It bounced off the back of a little Honda Accord and it just destroyed every bit of metal on the front of that truck. There shouldn't even have been a scratch on that truck. I had a 79 Chevy. You could have drove it through the wall, parked it in the living room, and barely, maybe you cracked the turn signal or something on it.
My lady's had 3 Buicks run into her. I don't know what it is about Buicks, but yeah, it's legitimate. I was skeptical at first because I'm like, what are the odds? I mean, nobody gets in that many accidents. And of course, everybody runs into you, you know.
Were they
It was
driven by
legitimate.
Buick's
but,
got bad brakes.
But no, they were driven
I
by
got no
Buick.
idea, but she's like, that truck in her is like a Buick Magnet. But needless to state, like all 3 of those cars had to be towed away, and you couldn't even tell where it hit my truck. That's pretty cool, considering, you know, you see other little fender benders at 20 miles an hour and people are getting towed away, you know, both vehicles. So it's one advantage of having an older truck. Somebody rear ends it, you can still get to work.
We gotta start wrapping this up, fellas. So, anything you want to say before we get out of here, Rob?
Eat a salad. Thanks for joining us. G23 is crazy. I'm the best cook in the world. And that's about it. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Thanks for jumping on. Jason, what about you?
Happy holidays, man. Thanks for the invite. Good to see everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for jumping on, too. So, with that, we'll bid you all adieu for this week. Weekend, whatever. Sure, we'll be seeing most of y'all somewhere else at some point during the week. So, until then, have a good night and stay safe, and we'll catch y'all later.
Don't take no shit from nobody.
Word 'em up.